Okay, you know what? I just thought about this. I'm gonna go grab my computer real quick. Hold on just a second. Okay. I wanted to try something to see if I can get a little bit more views going on conscious coffee. So I'm gonna experiment this Sunday. Hey, morning, everybody. Morning, Ray. Morning, Kevin. I'm gonna be talking about tantric parenting in 2019. You can thank my 13-year-old son for this conversation today. I just want to share my conscious coffee over to my business page and see if what the views do. You know, it's all about like views, right? Here, I was thinking about going live. I'm going to test drive it. I'm going to go live, I think, tomorrow from my business page, and then share it over here to this page. But I just want to see if I can do this and what that does, and then I'll upload it over there, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. See if this works. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, morning Addison, morning Kim, morning Kevin, morning Ray, and somebody else up there that I'm not going to mess with my phone because my coffee's right below my phone, and I really seriously don't want my phone in my coffee cup. It's been one of those mornings like that anyway. So this morning I slept till 9. I never sleep till 9. But man, I was sleeping so good, and everybody just let me sleep. And then I had nice coffee delivery into bed, which was really, really good. So it's been a nice, smooth moving day. My 4-year-old and 6-year-old should probably be getting home from Chicago after being gone for 2 weeks, either tonight or first thing in the morning. So I'm excited to see them. But it's just kind of Sundays, typically my family day. I don't do a whole lot. I don't see clients or anything, do any coaching, but I always do conscious coffee, get my article out, that kind of stuff. My non-negotiables for myself in my business, and just my personal just messaging system. Because I can tell you what, I get just as much out of doing conscious coffees and writing articles as I hope that those who read it and are touched by those words do as well. Morning, Tom and Dory. So this morning, my 13-year-old son, he comes in. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to somebody knocking at my door, and there was nobody there. That was interesting. I think maybe I was just in a dream, except my boyfriend heard it too. So I don't know, but there was nobody. And it was one of those interesting things, So it's like 4:59 or 4:58 in the morning, and I hear this tap, 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 tap. And I made him get up to go and see who was at the door, because I thought, is something going on with one of my older kids that have moved out? I'm like, why aren't they ringing the doorbell? Or why aren't they just coming in through the garage? Everybody knows their, mom's garage code. So nothing was there. I went back to sleep, and then, 9 o'clock I wake up, and Levi, my 13-year-old, he comes in, and we had heard, I woke up to Queen playing, morning Richard. I woke up to Queen playing Bohemian Rhapsody in the hallway downstairs, and then that was my 13-year-old. He absolutely, that's his favorite song, and he plays it a lot. But I was like, do I hear Queen playing right now? Like, what the heck? I smelled food cooking and Queen playing, and then I hear him going upstairs, and then I heard all this noise in his bedroom. And I'm laying there, and my guy and I were like, what is he doing right now? Like, what is he doing? Well, fast forward, he comes down and he's telling me about this amazing workout that he was doing. He's like, yeah, I was doing this and I was doing that. And he's like doing all this workout stuff. He's listening to music. He says, you know what I really want to learn, Mom? I was like, what? He's like, I want to learn how to meditate. He's like, I really think I need to learn how to meditate. He's like, this is what I need. He's like, I want to learn about energy, and I want to learn about meditation, and I want to learn about dreams, and I want to learn about signs. And he's just going into this, and he's got off on Egyptian stuff. He's like, the ancient Egyptians studied this and that, and all this sort of stuff. And we're talking about quantum physics and I gave him a book to read that is a very simplified version of some basic spiritual principles that run across everything so that he could kind of just learn through story form. But I thought, after sitting here and talking to him for like an hour and a half, we had this conversation about how he just wants to experience the spiritual realm of things and kind of open up the stuff. And he was telling me, he's like, check out my teeth, Mom. So he has his front 4 teeth. It's one of those things that it's like, it's silly how much just getting straightening done, but I was waiting until his wisdom teeth get in to get everything straightened. I'm just like, he can go get like a retainer or something, because his teeth up here, one was down a little bit further than the others, and his 4 teeth were kind of, almost spilled my coffee. And his 4 teeth have always been just kind of twisted and stuff. So they're all adult teeth, and he's convinced that he has mentally straightened his teeth. And he's standing there, and he's just like, look at what I've done. And he's like, look, this one's now all even with the rest. It looks like I have braces. People ask me if I've had braces before, except of course he's never had braces, all this kind of stuff. And he's just like, he's convinced. So now he's studying about the power of the mind and the effects that our mind has on our physical body. And he was telling me, he's done all this study now and read and watched different things, and he's watching TEDx talks and about the power of the mind and the power of our emotions. And I have had no influence on this. This is a really cool thing, that he is accessing this stuff that I teach on, and he is doing it without my direct influence. And I was joking, I said, I'm not a person that everything appears very normal and average in a lot of different ways in my home and everything, but then there are these little things that you have to get really close to me or be a student of mine to know. That's, belief structures or things that I might do. And he's influenced, but it's not me going, you need to believe this way. I have one son who's absolutely insistent that, this is just the way it is. It's just this very, like, you live, you die, it's over mentality. Energy is bullshit. He tries to prove everything scientifically, but he doesn't want to look at the spiritual aspect of things. I have another daughter who has, a daughter who is very spiritually open to different stuff and has great prophetic prophecies and everything. And then I've got this guy, it's like each one of my kids has different things that they're great in. But Levi, he is definitely like really accessing and experiencing this stuff with a desire to learn the actual 1, 2, 3s of how to go about it. And he has come up with the belief that in order for him to do the things that he wants to do, that he wants to experience and wants to tap into and wants to learn about, and even to benefit his workout, as he told me, he believes that he needs to learn how to meditate for 15 to 20 minutes every single day. And one of the very first things that he wants to implement is going to bed earlier, so that when he's trying to meditate, he doesn't fall asleep during meditation. So he's right, though. Like, meditation definitely is a very important aspect of a lot of different things that we do. And it really is that stilling of the mind. And it's not necessarily the stilling of thoughts, it's the non-attachment to those thoughts. So if you don't have a meditation practice, I am an avid believer, and I try to support people who want to experience just that silence, that stillness, that understanding of how to let go of attachment to different thoughts and to keep things, like we have the choice to connect to a thought or to not connect to a thought. We can go down the rabbit hole of that thought or not, right? And that's what meditation is really good at, is that it helps us to relax our bodies, relax our emotions, and kind of just get out of that wobble that we can so strongly be in that will derail us from so many beautiful things. And it's just cool to see that my 13-year-old son, on his own will, is desiring this. So on to the tantric parenting portion, which that's all tantric parenting right there. I a long time ago, when I was trying to get over my phobia of making live streams, few years back. I was down in Krakow, and I had decided that this was the time that I was going to learn how to get over my live stream phobia. And I decided that every single day I would do a live stream teaching about, because back then I was very, very hardcore sex and relationship coach still. And I had not moved my practice over to where I am at today, working with law of attraction and abundance and prosperity and all that good stuff, and entrepreneurs. So I did a whole series during that week down in Krakow on just little tidbits about our sex. And one of my most viewed horrible, oh my God, horrible videos that I did was on the tantric parenting, and that you can have a tantric life with children. I don't even remember exactly what it was called, but it was very interesting, because I remember sitting there at the table and having people pass around me and everything, and I was so insecure about talking about anything to my phone on live stream with people passing by. It's kind of funny. If anybody ever wants to laugh at me, go back and view some of those old videos, because they're pretty hilarious. But I was committed to working through that discomfort and getting better at something. And now it has become almost like, I don't know, an addiction, I guess you could say, of just like, no, I have to do my conscious coffee. So yeah, so back then I did that, and I was talking about how you can have this tantric lifestyle being a parent. And I was sharing some of the things that I have learned over the course of now 24 years of being a parent, and how I've raised 7 children who are very, very unique in themselves in different ways. And, you know, very opinionated, very, you know, conscientious, very present for the most part. My 19-year-old son, he said, you know, we're all so different, Mom, but the one thing you taught us was presence. I was like, it's true. They are all, they have their very unpresent moments. They're human, and they're kids, but they're very good at getting into the present moment, of not getting caught up on that back there or too much of that up there, right? Of just being right here in the moment and being very active in that moment and conscientious to it, instead of being as reactive as some, being more proactive as well. And tantric parenting to me is really just about, and I've thought about it, I actually think that I keep getting drawn in for some reason over summer. I've been really pulled to kind of maybe possibly create even like a workshop around this. So if you see something about tantric parenting coming out, it's just because my soul is going, you need to share some of the things that you've learned from just the way you've learned it through the course of the last 30 years, you know, of education and everything, and 24 years of parenting. But what I really believe tantric parenting is about number one, presence. Absolutely. Bringing that presence in, really setting aside the time. You know, we live in this world where we are so addicted to our phones, to our computers, to consistent noise in the background. Anytime you can bring a stillness into your environment, like my house often does not have the TV playing, does not have a radio playing. You know, there will be a silence. And sometimes people will think that that's eerie. I've had people come into my home and go, why is it so quiet, right? But there's a peacefulness to it, because it allows for the brain and for the emotions, for your limbic system to just kind of let go of stuff, instead of having that consistent action that is going on where you're never letting anything, you never let yourself reset your vibration, you never let yourself actually process anything. Because a lot of what we deal with in today's world is people who are scared of actually just being with themselves. They cannot be alone. And you can tell a person that is scared of being with themselves because they have something playing at all times. My ex, of my youngest too, he has to have music in the car. He has to have something, music or something attached to his head, you know, playing consistently. There is absolutely no stillness that he will get into. He one time told me that he was going to go do this 10-day silent retreat thing, and we were all making wagers as to how long he would make it. He only made it, I think he was there for 2 nights. It was like, it wasn't even, you're not making it to 10 days. And he came back with, like, they tried to do this, that's all stupid. But it was, what he was facing was, he was facing that fear of actually dealing with his own internal demons, you could say. And we do not create a space in today's world for us to deal with our own internal demons, for us to meet ourselves. So one of the biggest skills that I've learned in what I refer to as tantric parenting is to create quiet space, to try to bring in some stillness. I love to go camping, and because number one, internet's not going to work, chances are, and cell service doesn't always work. If you get it right, you won't have cell service, and you won't have internet access, and you can just say, and phones will go dead if you just like really hardcore go camping. You don't have a way to, charge your phones and everything. So it's like, nope, the adult in charge gets to have the phone, and we even power that off. And that's just, for GPS to get us out of here, and everything just gets stored in one spot. But to actually just go out and hear nature, to be able to get in tune with nature. Another big thing around the whole tantric parenting piece is that in my neighborhood, I live in a really nice neighborhood, and average house prices around here are $400,000 to $700,000, and it really is that, you don't see children. You don't see children. And a lot of people, it's garage door open, garage door shut, right? And if you walk down the streets, people don't have their windows open. It's all the blinds are shut. So people are living in this darkness, in this container in their house, where they don't know their neighbors, where there's no social activity. They're more caught up again on what? Keeping the noise box of what is preventing them from really tapping in. It is where they will just harbor up, and they teach their children to do the same. So you don't see a yard where there's 6 bikes laying out on the front of the grass like you used to see in the 70s and 80s, 60s, 50s, right? Like, when I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't call my friends. I just went and either walked over to somebody's house or rode my bike over there, or we would, somebody would pop by the house, and that was that. It was that connection, So we didn't have that. And there was always people, when I went out and was at a friend's house, we would be outside. The parents were saying, go outside, right? And there was more stillness in the house, but the kids were encouraged to be outside. We have lost that connection to those primal childhood experiences of being able to just kind of grow in everything and be able to tap into the earth and to be able to connect with other human beings without the freaking phone. And you watch teenagers today, and they will be texting each other and Snapchatting each other, and they're standing right across from each other. They're like, oh, that's really great, but their friend is right there, or it's just there's a lot of connection with a massive disconnection that is happening. That right there is a piece that, when we look at it moving into adult time frame, and then you have these teenagers, these kids who are now grown-ups, and they're working at jobs, and they're, they fall in love with somebody, or they meet somebody and they think that it's love, but they don't really know what love is, or what connection is, or what relationship is, because they think that it all works through this thing right here, right? Or that they have to have this going on, and they can't just be with somebody present with that person without something interfering and causing that white noise effect to dilute the connection between them and the other person. So what happens? Our needs then, like if you have 2 people that have grown up in that culture, then they both are hungry because their needs aren't being met. Inevitably, we're still human beings. We still have the needs of wanting to feel loved, of wanting to feel seen, of wanting to feel heard, of wanting to have connection, of wanting to be understood and experienced in different ways, of which our phones and our laptops, the TV, the radio, all of this stuff is not going to fulfill that. And as long as we are keeping that kind of distance, we never actually connect to another human being. So we don't really understand what love is, what that connection is, and it just gets all nasty, just murky grounds, which makes two unhappy individuals who are now trying to live together but have never been taught how to actually connect with another human being, because this is how they were raised in their household. Garage door open, garage door closed, don't talk to neighbors, fear of strangers, don't share too much. If you do this, if you do that, interaction is only done this way right here, which is there's this barrier to everybody. And then you still want no barrier. You want to just have that vulnerability and that surrender to each other, of which nobody knows how to do. And I think that even for my generation, we have come into this way where now it's been long enough that we've had cell phones and we've had the internet, we've had all that we have forgotten our youth. We have forgotten our youth, and we've become so addicted to this lifestyle that we have just kind of tapped out on who we really are. And I see it in my practice with couples and even with singles. Well, how do I do this? How do I do that? Oh my gosh, what did you do when you were 10 with your friends? Oh, I did that, but that's not the way of the world today. You're right, that's not the way of the world today, but that doesn't mean that has to be your way. So in tantric parenting, and I'm not going to get into keep teaching a whole course here, but tantric parenting of today, in my opinion, number one, I put tantric on there because the word tantra alone kind of is this mysterious word that nobody really understands and everybody relates to sex. And I keep trying to clean up this cesspool of ideas around the word tantra. So here you go. The Dalai Lama is an avid student and teacher of tantra. When I say Dalai Lama to you, do you think sex? Probably not, right? You probably think a really intelligent, very peaceful, highly enlightened person who understands just different things, right? He's every Dalai Lama through time is known for being peaceful, is known for enlightenment, is known for wisdom, okay? And never do we go, oh, he's this spiritual guru, a sexual guru, No. Now, if I say Sting, if I say Madonna, you're going to think, oh, all right, well, they're known for blah, 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 because Madonna studies Kabbalah. She's an avid student of Kabbalah, and Sting is an avid student of Tantra, which are both sister branches to the same belief structure. It's just different things that are emerging. Well, both have their good points, both have their bad points. What both teach and talk about is still a very Christian aspect, because Jesus taught the same things that both of those teach, which when we come down to that is that everything is interwoven. Everything is based on love. Everything is based on our light and following the light, which is that focus that we put towards it. So following your bliss. Joseph Campbell always talked about, following your bliss, that if you just tap into that bliss, which is that place where you feel that you're completely, totally aligned, and you get, the scary words of turn on here. If you get turned on to that, then that is the path to go. If you are finding resistance and you're going against yourself, you're going to feel nasty in your body. You're going to feel all this resistance. You're going to feel sick to your gut. You're going to feel tension, anxiety, frustration, depression, anger. These are not things of a clear soul. These are not things of the path of bliss. These are not things of light. God does not put fear into the path. You may be concerned about something, but you're not going to fear it. It is about love. It is about really truly being focused and in alignment to that love, to that joy, that bliss, all high vibration. Back to Tantra, okay? Back to Tantra. So this whole flow here and that whole practice, and what that really means is that we weave all of life together. We see that it is one tapestry is what our life is. It's not segregated out to be these different things. Okay, we don't have this. We teach our children, though, just like much, you go to your math class, you go to your history class, you go to PE, and it's all each class, right? Well, that's fine because it's school. It's fine. So we have all of that. But the piece that's getting missed is that all of that is school. It is all school. It is all interwoven. Each one of those has a part in it. But you know what? If you're really great at sports, but you suck at all these other areas, then all these other areas are going to basically hinder your sports, because you're not going to be allowed to play sports anymore because you're flunking in science and math. Okay, so then all of a sudden this goes away. Well, the same thing happens in life in general for us adults, and the teaching of that is that, you know, if you're really lacking in one area, it's going to affect all areas. Okay, it's kind of like, you know, if like you have a hurt leg, that's going to throw your whole body out of alignment. You can completely have this pristine body, be perfectly fine in all these areas, but if you have a weak leg, then that weak leg is going to keep you out of harmonic flow, and you're not going to be able to move the same way that you would as if you focused in on and made that leg just as strong as the other areas of your life. Somebody's popping me a message. So, Tantra and Tantric parenting, teaching children that everything is woven together, and that everything, the difference between light and dark, we could say, the difference between anger, fear, depression, the things of lower vibration or the things of ego versus the things of love, which is love, gratitude, joy. Okay, and how do we recognize that? I work a lot with my children and always have. I don't say, what's wrong with you? Okay, I'll say, what is challenging you? So I change that a little bit. That's just a minor little change, but it is a minor little change. I know I never tell my kids, you know, like I'm mad at you. I'll tell them, I'll say, you know, I'm really happy with, you're a great person, but you're better than this action. You're better than this attitude. You're worthy of more than that. So in other words, bring your vibration up. I ask them how they're feeling in their body, to tell me like what's going on in their body, about body awareness, and then providing the space for them to actually tune into their body awareness by having quiet moments, by tapping them back into nature, by not filling their bodies with a whole bunch of different pollutants in different ways, because those pollutants can come from the things that they're getting from the outside sources, media, from, you know, constant noise in the house, constant negativity in the house. Like what is spewing out of your mouth, you are putting right into your child. And you have to realize that, like, if you're really being negative all the time, then that is going to impact your child, and they're going to be more worried, more anxious, more depressed, more temperamental, you know, all this kind of stuff, because now you're filling their head with a whole library full of negativity that's not even theirs. But they're not old enough to understand that they don't have to take that on. They will take it on. They are sponges. The way you are acting in your house is exactly the way that they are going to process and believe that life is to be and that they should be. So children do not, they, as much as they hear and they absorb our words, it is the actions and the energy that comes with the words that really truly implement and impact. Okay, so if you say, you shouldn't smoke, but you're always lighting up a cigarette, well, your chances of your child becoming a smoker increase. Okay, you tell your kid, oh, you really need to eat healthy, you really need to do that, but you're over there and you're pounding back the Big Macs all the time, and you don't work out and you don't take care of your body, that example is going to play a significant role. Tantric parenting is about being present in yourself and being present with your children, taking responsibility for your actions and not being afraid to just kind of just stand and say, yeah, I fucked up right there. Like I messed up right there. Here's where I went wrong. And not being afraid to also express the different things that are happening in your life and in your world. Like, get real. Stop hiding from your children. They need the life skills, and they are dependent on us parents to have those life skills in multiple ways. Whatever your belief structure is, it doesn't much matter. You are the custodian of your child, and it is your responsibility, if you want to be a good parent, tantric or not, to realize that it is you who are teaching them the life skills, and they are mimicking your life skills. So if you don't have it, then you need to figure out how to get it and do the self-work. I have done work with different women around, and I'm going to bring it into this because this is like an important piece. As much as I just said that Tantra isn't about sex, well, guess what? Sex is still a piece of our adult life, isn't it? It is a major piece of our adult life. I have now I am on my fourth 16-year-old child in the house, and another one right around the corner, my 13-year-old. And having been in sex and relationship for the last 10, 11, 12 years in my coaching practice and in my own healing work, it went from sex and intimate relationship stuff. And when I say intimate relationship stuff, I mean of the heart, not of the genitals when I say intimacy. Vulnerable stuff that is really more emotional based. In my 20s and even edging around my early 30s, I was really uncomfortable about sharing anything as to what was going on. I hid my world with my husband. I hid certain intimacies. I didn't want, and what happened was I bottled it all up, and my older kids would tell you, wow, mom was very volatile. She would just blow it, and she was crazy. Like I would do some just stupid stuff because I didn't know how to process. I didn't know how to communicate. I had so much shame and so much guilt, and didn't know how to get fed because my mother didn't know how to get fed, and my father didn't know how to connect and how to express. So they had this, very toxic relationship, and so there wasn't that expression come to me. So it was left to me in my teen and 20 years. Spirit kind of brought it around and gave me some tasters, and I was blessed to tap into that and taste it. But then I moved into a relationship that I kind of mimicked what I saw and what my now ex-husband saw in his toxic parenting, situation when he was growing up. But what ended up happening was that I brought that shame and that guilt and that closed off mindset and feeling into my relationship and the relationship with my children. So they saw a mother that did not get her needs met, that did not know her boundaries, that did not know her non-negotiables, that was insecure around her body, that was insecure in her relationship, that could not communicate with their father, that would get upset and be pointing outward and blaming towards them instead of being responsible and proactive in her actions, that did not practice what she knew was true until, well, my oldest was probably 5 or 6 when I picked up my meditation practice again and started doing that. But I didn't do things that I needed to do consistently, okay? And life kind of led me down this path, and boom, I started practicing that. What I saw over the course of the 10 years of really getting in there and doing my work and helping others do their work was I saw this beautiful change in my children, where now there's these open communications, where once they were lying to me and they were scared to communicate to me, and they were scared to bring things to me because they thought that I would explode, they no longer were doing. Now they were coming to me in love and connection, and now I'm like, I am the hub. I think I know more about my children and other people's children of all ages than what I should, like if the should fit in here. But there is this beautiful experience of that there is that safe haven, that they can come and they can speak their truth, and that they're safe enough to speak their truth, that their truth is accepted even if I don't agree with it, even if I'm not completely in alignment with it, even if it freaks me out, they can still speak their truth to me, and I'm not going to shame them and damn them. Instead, I take that moment to teach in a connection-based level about, hey, here's this, here's that. I try to bring up different things to the table and just maintain in that openness. So a big piece of tantric parenting is like, check your ego when you're talking to your kids, right? Like check where you're at. If it really makes it where like, wow, this is like, whew, that's heavy stuff. How do I answer that? If you feel yourself pushing back different things and going no because it pulls up something inside of you, that's not your kids' fault. Okay, that's something that is not right in you that you're not comfortable with. So go do the work around you before you go and lash out at your kid who doesn't understand, who's looking for resources and looking for guidance and help in those moments. And the more you create those spaces for you to be able to actually, even when you're not comfortable with it, lean in and kind of be that sounding board, well, guess what? That creates that safe haven, and it shows them that they are safe, which then allows them to bring everything into this beautiful flow in their life, because what? It's all about weaving it all together. It's about the whole tapestry. It's not just about this one thread over here, but this one thread is a very important thread. No matter what it is, it needs to be important, but it cannot become the whole life of anybody. And whatever that thread is, it can be health, it can be sex, it can be schoolwork, it can be anything, it can be the chores. It doesn't much matter. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt I was just in tons of gratitude this morning, having this conversation with with my son and just some of the stuff that he was sharing, it just made me extremely grateful for the children that I have and their viewpoints and their ability to share and to connect and be speaking in their truth. And I know that I get told often that my house is very different, very, very different, to the point that it is a hub for other children who cannot speak their truth, and their homes that they can come and that they can just kind of process and just kind of like, oh, okay, I can just be me here and I have a safety net. And isn't it sad that a lot of kids today don't feel that their safety net is their home base, is their mom and their dad, is that space? But a lot of kids don't. And if you think back to your youth, did you feel safe bringing stuff to your parents? Probably not. I wasn't safe bringing stuff to my parents. I lied left and right to my parents about stuff because I was afraid of the whiplash of what was going to happen. I could not openly communicate the way my children communicate with me. It would not have been accepted. It would just have been, there would have been some disowning going on or something. And I hear that. I hear parents tell their kids, if you do this or if you do that, you're out. I will throw you out. And I've witnessed parents throw the children to the curb because of, an argument or something. I'm like, they are 14, they are 15, they are 16. They do not have the life skills. Talk about bringing a whole bunch of abandonment up and causing a whole bunch of psychological and emotional issues and potential worse stuff going on top of it. This is not a way to make our world better by being so reactive as parents to our children, to hitting that pause button and checking ourselves and asking ourselves, am I jumping the gun here? How is the best way to do this? How can I still get this educational lesson through, but do it from a place of the heart, not a place of I own you, I control you, I am your master. I'm an adult, therefore I know. Bull crap, we're all learning. And it's like, we're all learning, we're all students, we're all children of this world. And the sooner we can just get in tune with that, sometimes our kids can be our greatest teachers. Often our children are our greatest teachers. And we need to be the students to those lessons. Putting ourselves in the mindset of I'm the parent, therefore I am almighty and know everything, blocks us from those lessons for both sides. And a big portion of tantric parenting is to realize that it's more than just this age that we're looking at in our children, that they are a human being, that they are a soul, that there is a consciousness there, an understanding there, and a different viewpoint on life than what we have. So being able to honor that is the biggest portion of tantric parenting style, is to just recognize that light in that person, in that child, and view it as a soul, not as a piece of property, not as something that we are here to control, but something that we are here to guide in a loving fashion. And yes, sometimes love means that they get grounded. Sometimes love means that they get their phones taken away. Sometimes love means that that they don't get to have certain responsibilities and everything. That is love. It's not about not disciplining your child. It's about the energy that you're putting into it, and it's coming from. Is it coming from ego, or is it coming from love? And you really have to get into a deeper understanding of self-awareness and self-love to be able to answer those questions in parenting. So yeah. So what am I doing with that? I don't know. I just thought I would share it because I was in great gratitude today for it. And then I got this message going off with all my kids and everything, and they're all communicating, and grandbabies are going, we want auntie, we want uncle, we want this, we want that, and everybody, it's just like, there's so much warmth. And I can tell you that as over the course of the last 24 years of parenting, the ups and the downs and the lessons and the learning and everything, I'm sitting in a space as a mother and as a grandmother where I am awestruck at my family and at my children, and just at that beautiful connection that's there. And I really truly respect that and love it. And I just wish that more people in the world could experience that, because there's nothing like being able to walk into that space with your child, no matter how old they are, and be able to still be authentically you and be able to love them for being authentically them, even if you don't agree with their viewpoints, their ideas, or different things. So that is just a beautiful space to be, to still be able to hold that love and really truly make it unconditional. So yeah, so not a whole bunch of people said much of anything. I've been blabbing here and you guys aren't saying anything. And I know I got some mamas on here at least, and some dads too, I bet. So, hey, morning Kathy, Patricia. Wow, there's a bunch of people. Morning Tiffany, Michelle, Jana. Good morning Richard. I didn't see that come in. Rachel and Tom, Dory. I think I saw Dory. All right, I'm trying to say hello to everybody. Marcus and Amberly, Julianne, Paula, Snelia, morning. Dan, Atlantis. Just getting ready. Hey, Ray. Yeah. So, there you go. There's my Sunday message. A little bit more family focused, little things, nothing mind blowing, but you know what? The awareness of presence, of unconditional love, of tapping into ego versus soul, or versus that love feeling, and realizing that the best parenting comes from a parent who is doing their own self work. And that if you are having issues with your children, and you know, the first place to start is not with your child, but with yourself, because it really is probably coming from you and your expectations of the energy between you and your child, or what is going on. If you are focusing in on the negative, and I can tell you this is like here and then I'll shut up, but one of the biggest lessons that I learned when my now 24-year-old was 3 years old, she was, and she still is, she's the most stubborn, hard-headed, very amazing young woman. But as a child, she was just like, she was rock solid, and she still is. Like, well, you cannot, when she makes her mind up to something, it is just that way. It does not matter what the odds are against her. She is going, which is beautiful, right? And a pain in the butt to parent. But I learned quickly that I implemented a back then theory. Now it is just a way. And what it was the focus, and it was the basis of, am I going to focus on the positive, or am I going to focus on the negative? Children, no matter what, they are wanting attention, okay? So they will gain attention, which basically equates to love, okay? Attention equals love. So if you are giving your child attention in the negative more than in the positive, so you are reprimanding them more, but you don't even pay attention to their good deeds when they get it right, and you're like, yeah, that's great. But then when they come in with, you know, they're flunking, or they got into a fight, or they skipped school, or they did something like that, and you just spend an hour reprimanding, well, then they will learn that the way that they're going to get attention from you, connection, which is what they're really hungering after, then they will continue to go out and they will act in the negative, because that's where they're going to get the attention from. So as a parent, if you want to be proactive about this, be present about it, notice if you are giving more attention to that, because if you are more caught up in the reprimand than in the reward and in the connective energy of having those special moments in positive energy, then what you'll end up doing is you will feed that negative, and that child will actually go out and try to be bad, even when they don't even have a reason to. There's nothing for them to go do. They will find something negative to do to get that attention from you. And you as a parent can flip that right there by just taking your focus, making this very short over here, and bringing your attention to the positive, and then making, like, really connecting with them over that A that they got, or that beautiful art project that they got. Take your kid out on a date. Like, date your children. I date all of my children. They will fight over date times. Like, when I get into my dating time with my kids, they're like, where do we sign up, Mom? Why are you taking, I have to go, well, I'm doing oldest to youngest this time, or sometimes youngest to oldest. I'm like, you know, how long is this going to take to make it through all my siblings? Like that. But they really look forward to that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of going out, having lunch with me, having coffee, discussing things, window shopping, maybe really shopping. And every child is a little bit different. I try to, you know, focus it to things that they like. You know, so I might end up at the Lego store, I might end up at the zoo, I may end up going and getting nails done with a daughter, or hair, or a shopping spree, or something like that, or just crashing and just sitting at the park and having a picnic and talking, whatever, taking a walk. but I will make sure that they know that I am dating. And that is focusing in on that positive connection and really giving it quality, and then making not much over this stuff over here. So they set me off all the time. I get mad every single day at probably almost every single one of my kids. They piss me off in some way, but I just choose to give it like a boom and keep the focus over here, okay, on the positive, because I want to reward the positive, not the negative. Remember that a reprimand is a reward of the negative energy, and so they're going to take that reward and run with it because they want more rewards. Or you can take that and you can bring it into the positive and reward the positive energy with quality time, with quality connection, inquiry, you know, like, hey, how was your day at school? What's going on with you and your friends? You know, oh, they'll show me that, right? I hate Minecraft. It makes me sick. I get so dizzy. But my kids, they love the Minecraft, right? So they come up there and they want me to rate their, you know, their buildings and stuff. And they want me to look at their worlds and everything like that. My 19-year-old son, he pops in every single day after work and talks to me for about an hour and decompresses himself as like therapy session with mom for an hour. Comes in, grabs a glass of water. He's sweaty from his bicycle ride because he rides to work on his bicycle every single day. But then on his way home, before he goes home, he lives right next door, before he goes home, he stops here, gets a glass of water, talks to me for 40 minutes to an hour every single day, and we just talk about whatever he needs to talk about. And I'm present with him and try to focus in on that. And that right there keeps him very aligned and connected, teaching him communication and all of this beautiful stuff. So, big tip there. Are you focusing in on the negative that your child's doing? Are you rewarding the negative, or are you rewarding the positive? Remember that where attention goes, energy flows. What you focus on grows. So really think of it like that. So let me see. I think I'm done with all that stuff. I do have ladies. I have Unstoppable Power. It's My Time to Fly. That is going to be going live on the 15th. This is a live group training. It is 12 weeks of intensive, fun, connective, getting to know yourself, really designing your life. If you're single, potentially connecting with the love of your life, learning how to make more money, expanding your consciousness around things, self-love, forgiveness, clearing out the shame, getting turned on for life, you know, and really just becoming that dynamic woman that you are. So it's 12 weeks, so it's group coaching, but it's also one-on-one coaching with me. So I'm doing one-on-one coaching through Facebook live chats and everything. So we're going to have coaching sessions, or 6 coaching sessions over the 12-week time frame. Everything is structured. I encourage you to click on the link in the comment section to look at everything that is in this course. Once everybody's registered and everything, we start up on the 15th. Everything will close down. We will run for 12 weeks. Okay, so there's going to be just this really powerful line of course. There's going to be video content, audio content, written content, one-on-one, of course, group trainings, and the group will remain live for a lifetime. So it is all about building a tribe of women who want to be empowered, who want to make it their time to fly and really take on this life in all areas, So no matter what you got going on, if you would like to just really tap in and clear out some of that old stuff and build a strong foundation and learn how to spread your wings in so many different areas, check out Unstoppable Power. It's My Time to Fly, in links there. And of course, if you have any questions, just message me. I'm going to jump off of here. As always, you can follow me at www.kendalwilliams.com, and I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee. As always, stop existing, start living, and make it your time to fly. Love you guys.